Welcome to the Life Equation. Today, we're diving into the power of non-reactivity and 12 essential habits to master emotional control. Let's get started. Have you ever met someone who gets angry, anxious, or upset over the smallest things? Many people struggle to manage their emotions, especially in moments of stress or uncertainty. When faced with unexpected challenges, they get caught in a whirlwind of negative emotions, anger, frustration, or sadness, turning minor disagreements into major conflicts. Imagine this. You're having a casual debate with someone about sports or politics. You're simply expressing your opinion, but the other person starts getting irritated. Their voice rises, and soon they resort to personal attacks or harsh criticism. What started as a friendly discussion now escalates into a heated argument. Why? Because not everyone knows how to regulate their emotions. When people hear something they dislike, their immediate reaction is often impulsive, like a sudden storm of anger or defensiveness. They take opposing views as personal attacks, feel the need to prove themselves right, and in the heat of the moment, say things they later regret. This lack of emotional control can damage relationships, cloud judgment, and create unnecessary stress. Only after the dust settles do they realize the consequences of their reactions. So, how can you avoid falling into this trap? In this video, we'll explore 12 powerful habits that help you cultivate emotional discipline, the ability to stay calm and composed, even in difficult situations. The key principle is simple. By recognizing strong emotions and resisting the urge to react immediately, you gain the clarity to make better decisions. These habits are practiced daily by highly disciplined individuals. Just like training a muscle, developing emotional strength takes time and consistent effort. But with these 12 strategies, you'll learn to navigate life with patience, wisdom, and control. 1. The chemical cool down. When emotions flare up, your brain releases a surge of chemicals, adrenaline, cortisol, and other stress hormones that amplify your emotional response. This flood of chemicals can push you toward impulsive decisions, aggressive reactions, or words you'll later regret. But here's the key. These chemicals don't last forever. If you give your brain just a few moments to reset, the intensity of your emotions will naturally start to fade. One simple yet effective technique is the 5-second rule. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and slowly count down from 5 to 1. This short pause disrupts the automatic emotional loop, allowing your logical mind to regain control. In those few seconds, your body begins to regulate itself, your heart rate slows, your breathing evens out, and the rush of stress hormones starts to subside. As a result, you gain clarity, preventing a minor frustration from turning into a full-blown crisis. It may seem like a small habit, but practicing this consistently can transform the way you handle conflict, stress, and unexpected challenges. 2. Trace the emotion to its source. When a strong emotion takes hold, anger, frustration, or sadness, it often feels overwhelming, as if it came out of nowhere. But emotions don't appear randomly. They have deep-rooted causes, shaped by past experiences, insecurities, and personal triggers. Instead of reacting immediately, take a step back and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? If a comment from someone upsets you, don't just focus on their words, dig deeper. What about their statement triggered such a strong reaction? Did it remind you of a past hurt? Did it challenge your sense of self-worth? Or did it simply catch you on a bad day? This habit forces you to shift from reacting emotionally to thinking critically. Instead of being swept away by anger or pain, you become an observer of your own emotions. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to separate what is happening in the moment from the deeper issues beneath the surface. Often, the true cause of your emotions isn't what you initially assume. You might think you're angry at a rude coworker, But in reality, you're frustrated with yourself for not setting clear boundaries. You might feel hurt by a friend's comment, but deep down, it stems from an unresolved insecurity. By tracing your emotions back to the root cause, you gain clarity. And with clarity comes control. You can address the real issue without unnecessary conflict, making choices that serve you instead of sabotaging you. 3. Releasing resentment before it consumes you. Many people unknowingly carry unresolved anger, resentment, or sadness like an invisible weight on their shoulders. Instead of confronting these emotions head-on, they suppress them, allowing negativity to simmer beneath the surface, sometimes for days, months, or even years. Imagine this. You have an argument with a close friend. Harsh words are exchanged, and both of you walk away feeling hurt and misunderstood. But instead of addressing the issue, you bottle up your frustration. You replay the conversation in your mind, justifying your anger and reinforcing your resentment. Days pass, then weeks. Over time, you may even forget the original reason you were upset, but the lingering bitterness remains, subtly affecting your mood, your interactions, and even your self-perception. This pattern doesn't just apply to anger. It happens with sadness, guilt, embarrassment, or disappointment as well. When left unprocessed, these emotions build up, much like pressure in a sealed container. Eventually, that pressure needs to be released, often in an unhealthy or explosive way. But there's a better way to handle it. Instead of suppressing negative emotions, acknowledge them. When something upsets you, don't shove it into the back of your mind and hope it disappears. Instead, take a moment to recognize what you're feeling and why. If someone hurt you, ask yourself, do I need to express my feelings to them directly? Is there a way to process this without confrontation? Am I holding on to this pain for a valid reason, or is it just my ego? Sometimes, a simple conversation or a moment of self-reflection can dissolve emotions that otherwise might fester for years. Your emotions don't need to define you. They are temporary, fluid, and manageable as long as you deal with them before they take root. Instead of letting resentment grow like a weed in your mind, pull it out at the source and free yourself from its grip. 4. Label your emotions to gain control. One of the biggest reasons emotions feel overwhelming is that we often don't fully understand what we're experiencing. Instead of a single clear feeling, we're caught in a storm of thoughts, sensations, and reactions. But here's a simple trick to regain control. Give your emotions a name. The moment you feel a surge of emotion rising, pause and ask yourself, what exactly am I feeling right now? Am I angry, or am I actually frustrated? Am I sad, or is it disappointment? Am I feeling impatient, or is it insecurity? By identifying and labeling your emotions, you strip them of their power. They become less abstract, less overwhelming, and much easier to manage. Psychologists call this affect labeling, the process of putting feelings into words. Studies show that when you name an emotion, your brain automatically starts regulating it, reducing its intensity and giving you a greater sense of control. So the next time you feel emotionally flooded, don't just react, define it. Because once you can name it, you can tame it. 5. Master stress to master your emotions. Stress has a profound impact on your emotional state. When you're stressed, your patience wears thin. Your emotions become harder to regulate, and even minor inconveniences can trigger intense reactions. You might snap at someone over a small mistake, make impulsive decisions, or feel overwhelmed by emotions you'd normally handle with ease. The truth is, all forms of stress affect your emotions, whether it's physical exhaustion, mental overload, or emotional strain. That's why it's crucial to develop daily habits that help you release built-up tension before it takes control of you. Here are a few powerful ways to manage stress. Journaling, writing down your thoughts, can help you process emotions and clear mental clutter. Meditation, practicing mindfulness, trains your brain to stay calm and centered, even in difficult situations. Exercise, physical activity, helps regulate stress hormones and boosts your mood naturally. By making stress management a daily priority, you're not just improving your well-being, you're strengthening your ability to stay calm, composed, and emotionally resilient, no matter what life throws your way. 6. Allow yourself to feel. Many people lose control of their emotions, not because they feel too much, but because they suppress their feelings for too long. This is especially common in those taught to stay strong by hiding their emotions until one day everything erupts. Repressed emotions don't disappear. They build up and explode at the worst moments. To prevent this, create space for healthy emotional expression. Journaling to process thoughts and feelings, talking to someone you trust for perspective, seeking professional guidance when needed. Expressing emotions isn't weakness, it's emotional intelligence. Make it a habit, and you'll gain clarity, control, and inner peace. 7. Channel your emotions into action. Writing or talking about your emotions isn't the only way to process them. Sometimes the best way to release what you're feeling is through movement and creativity. Physical activities like sports, dancing, or even a brisk walk can help burn off stress and refocus your mind. Creative outlets like painting, playing an instrument, or singing allow you to express emotions in a non-verbal but deeply satisfying way. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed, try belting out your favorite song or sketching whatever comes to mind. The key is to redirect emotional energy into something productive, something that brings clarity, calmness, and even joy. Find an activity that resonates with you and turn it into a tool for emotional balance. 8. Cultivate the habit of empathy. When you're angry or frustrated with someone, take a step back and try to see the situation from their perspective. You might feel wronged, unheard, or misunderstood, but have you considered that the other person might feel the same way? They could be dealing with personal struggles, carrying unspoken burdens, or simply struggling to process their own emotions. More often than not, conflicts arise not from malice, but from miscommunication and unexpressed pain. Practicing empathy doesn't mean ignoring your own feelings or excusing bad behavior. It means understanding before reacting. Before jumping to conclusions, ask yourself, what might they be going through right now? Are they intentionally hurting me, or is this a misunderstanding? If I were in their shoes, how would I feel? Developing an empathetic mindset helps dissolve negative emotions and fosters deeper, more meaningful connections. Even when you're not in conflict, regularly practicing empathy strengthens emotional intelligence, making you more patient, thoughtful, and composed in any situation. True emotional mastery isn't just about controlling your own feelings, it's about understanding others, challenging your assumptions, and approaching life with an open and compassionate heart. 9. Embrace your emotions without shame. Do you ever feel embarrassed by your emotions? Many people avoid confronting their true feelings because they fear judgment either from themselves or from others. They suppress sadness, frustration, or anxiety, convincing themselves that ignoring these emotions will make them disappear. When someone asks how they're doing, they smile and say, "I'm fine," even when they're struggling inside. But emotional suppression doesn't solve anything, it only deepens inner turmoil, making it harder to process what you're truly feeling. Instead of running from your emotions, take ownership of them. Acknowledge your feelings without guilt or shame. There's nothing weak about experiencing anger sadness, or fear, they are part of what makes you human. The key is not to let your emotions control you, but to accept them as natural and temporary. When you stop fighting how you feel and start understanding it, you gain the power to respond with clarity and self-awareness. 10. Recognize your boiling point. Even with emotional self-control, there will be moments when you feel on the verge of an outburst. This is what some call the boiling point, the instant just before emotions erupt beyond your control. To prevent regrettable words or actions, learn to recognize your boiling point. Pay attention to the physical and mental warning signs: racing thoughts, clenched fists, or a rising sense of urgency. When you sense yourself reaching that threshold, remove yourself from the situation immediately. Give yourself the space to cool down before making any decisions. A few moments of distance can save you from days, weeks, or even years of regret. 11. Create a personal mantra. When emotions become overwhelming, anchoring yourself with a mantra, a meaningful phrase or affirmation, can shift your mindset and help you regain control. A well-chosen mantra serves as a mental reset, reminding you of what truly matters and allowing you to rise above anger, frustration, or disappointment. For example, phrases like, "This moment will pass. I choose peace over chaos. I am in control of how I respond." Repeating your mantra a few times can lower stress, bring clarity, and restore focus. The most effective mantras aren't borrowed from others, they are personal, designed by you for you. Find one that resonates with your values and use it as a guiding light in difficult moments. 12. Harness the power of breath. Highly disciplined individuals master patience and emotional resilience using one simple tool: their breath. Breathwork isn't just a relaxation technique, it's a direct line to your nervous system. Every inhale activates the sympathetic nervous system, triggering your body's fight or flight response. Every exhale engages the parasympathetic nervous system, promoting relaxation and balance. By controlling your breath, you control your emotional state. The next time frustration or anxiety starts to take over, try this. Inhale deeply through your nose for 4 seconds, hold for a moment, exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds. This simple shift slows your heart rate, soothes your nerves, and interrupts the cycle of emotional overload. In just a few breaths, you can regain composure and respond with clarity instead of impulse.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.